Kathy introduced me. I'm Robert James. I've been a part of Edmonton Paranormal Society for, I think, about 4 or 5 years now. Back before it was even a society. So, I've done probably a few dozen investigations now. All from there's nothing going on to holy crap. But, you know, it's a learning process for everyone. You start off, bumps and noises scare you. They don't scare me anymore. But what I wanted to talk about tonight is what I do for the Edmonton Paranormal Society as a psychic medium. And basically my role is to help them piece those puzzles together that they can't figure out on their own using technology or just speaking to the people that are there, because they might not be able to communicate with what's there or get a sense of what's going on. So that's where I come in. I'm able to go in, I'm able to give them my opinion on what I think is going on, be able to possibly communicate with what's there, and then offer my advice of what I think needs to be done. Now, normally for an investigation, no, I don't know anything. Kathy or somebody from Edmonton Paranormal will just call me up or email me and say, hey, are you available this day, this time to go do an investigation? And I'll say, sure. And that's it. I don't ask them, okay, what's going on? You know, do you think it's bad? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's nothing? I don't ask them anything. I don't even ask them the names of the people who live there or who asked for the investigation. I just say, okay, let me know the address the day of, and that's it. I don't know anything. So then they'll usually get in touch with me and say, here's the address, we're going to meet up at this time, not a problem, I'll show up. And that's the first time I'm meeting the clients, talking to the people, walking into the place. So it's all unbiased, and I have no previous knowledge walking in. Hello.
Hi guys. Sorry we're late.
So yeah, I don't know anything walking in. I don't get any background information or anything. And then what I'll do is I'll do running out of places.
Not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing. So then after you know, I show up, say hi, meet up with Kathy and the other members. Usually the first thing I'll do after introductions is I'll take a walk through the place. And I usually do this with just members of the group, not the clients. And I'll walk through the place, and I'll just go wherever I feel I need to go. The group doesn't tell me anything. So I just end up to wherever spot in the location that I feel I need to go to. And then as we're going through, I'll talk to the members of the group and I'll let them know, you know, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I'm picking up on this, I'm picking up on that. And they usually don't tell me right away what has been going on. And I don't want them to, because like I said, I don't want any, come up with any opinions or preconceived notions before going there. So come on in. Oh, that's right. I think there's one spot.
Oh gosh. Oh, thank you.
So yeah, I don't want to walk into a place and already maybe have some ideas in my head that may be wrong. Because, you know, sometimes the homeowner or the client, they don't know. They're not experienced at this. They don't know what's actually paranormal or not, right? So I don't want to be misled. I want to go in there not knowing anything. So I can do my walk. I'm getting this, I'm getting that, picking up on this, picking up on that. And usually after the walkthrough, that's when Kathy and the other members will say, okay, well, this is what they said they're experiencing. And then I'll usually go through, it could be this, it could be that, it might be residual, it might not be nothing, it could be, we've had everything from, it's the person's dead grandmother to... Better them than me. There you go. that pretty much sums up the other end of the scale, right there. Because we've had investigations where, and this was with some of the older members of Edmonton Paranormal, where I actually had to go to the leader of the group and say, you need to take that investigator out because something bad is really happening to her. She was completely spaced out. You tried saying her name 10 times and she wasn't listening to you. She was completely off in another place, and you could tell that she was being affected by what was going on in there. So, there's opposite ends of the spectrum there, but, most times it's not like Paranormal Activity. It's not like The Exorcist or anything like that. And you can ask these guys, most times it's boring. It really is. It's really boring. I don't mean to put anything on me, but even more so for me, because I can walk in and go, yep, nothing's going on. There's nothing paranormal here. And then these poor guys have to stay and record everything for hours, right? Because you just can't walk in the door and then walk out 5 minutes later, yeah, there's nothing going on. You have to make the attempt. So, it's a learning process. You grow. I've learned myself. And just to give a little background of why I got involved in the first place was, I realized at one point in my life that I had a good natural sense of intuition. If I followed my gut and listened to the little voices in my head, no, I'm not crazy, it usually worked out. So I wanted, and I had paranormal experiences of my own, where growing up, my family, we would move into a place, and within a few months or so, it would end up being haunted. And we moved to a new place, and a few months later, it would end up being haunted. And it took me a long time to figure out it was because it was me. Things were coming in trying to talk to me, and I was ignoring them. So they would start doing things to get my attention. So, a couple places we all slept in the living room. My parents would make us all sleep as a family in the living room because they didn't want us off in our own rooms, because there was that much activity going on. So I decided I'm going to find people like me, or find a group like me that I can go to and talk and figure out what it is. So this is when I went to my first meeting here in Edmonton, and it was called Coffee with the Dead. It was actually a different paranormal group, and the original founder of Edmonton Paranormal, before it was even Edmonton Paranormal. So I went there, and I quickly realized that, no offense to anyone here, nobody was like me. I was the oddball. So everybody was interested in what had happened to me in my life, all the paranormal experiences that I had, all the hauntings that I had. And then I realized, okay, it's not just a good sense of intuition, so what is it? So I turned to one friend that I knew at the time who was into the spiritual, and I went to her and I said, what is this? And she helped me realize that I actually had abilities. I was actually able to see and talk to them. I was actually able to, listen to my spirit guides. And so from there, I decided, okay, well, what do I do with this? So, I didn't think I was a reader or anything like that at the time. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to these discussion groups. They do investigations. I wonder if I could talk to them and see if they would let me go on investigations. Because the way I looked at it, and it's just me, I'm just that type of person where, I'd rather jump into something and learn. Just throw me in there, I'll figure it out. So that's what I did. And they said, sure, you can come on investigations. And one of the worst investigations we ever went on was the first one I ever went on. So it was, excuse my French, I got fucked up. I really did. Because I really didn't know what I was doing. And, it was probably the best learning experience that I've ever had. Doing this sort of work was being able to figure out what was actually going on. Why what happened to me, and I was able to walk away from that and take away from that and learn from it to not make those same mistakes again. So, now pretty much nothing bothers me going in on an investigation. It's funny, when I'm on with Kathy a few weeks ago and I said, here, stick your hand here and tell me what happened. She stuck her hand in there and pulled it out so quick and jumped and almost ran out of the room. I'm like, what? So, it's just like anything. You just get used to it. And when you're able to figure it out and you're able to talk and communicate with what's there, it's not as scary, I guess. So that's kind of the progression to where I was to where I am now in doing this for Edmonton Paranormal. And I did take a break for a little while just because, life gets hectic sometimes, so I had to take a break. But then I decided to get back into it, and Kathy found out and said, hey, do you mind helping out again? So I said, sure. So, and in a couple weeks, she had me at a place. And I honestly don't mind. And
keep him busy.
Yes, I like keeping busy, with this type of stuff because it's an interest of mine. I have these abilities, I might as well use them. And what better way to use them than to be able to help other people? Because that's what it all boils down to, is being able to use this to help other people. Not to try to take advantage of anyone. Because one of the things I always tell people, it's the intent behind what you're doing that means everything. So I don't know what anyone's spiritual beliefs are, but I'm a believer in universal law and karma and all that. So that's why I have the belief that it's the intent behind what you're doing that makes all the difference. My intent is to use this to help others, not to use it to take advantage of people. So that's why I have no problem coming here and talking tonight or going and doing investigations. I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I'm getting anything out of it. So, and that's just a little bit about me. I'm sure you guys have tons of questions. I just wanted to talk for 15-20 minutes and tell you a little bit about what I do, and then I wanted to open it up for the next little bit for questions, if people have questions.